Hi, I'm so excited to be with you all. Welcome to Unlock Your Soul Magic with Nikki Joshi. Today's episode is really focused on this theme and topic of fear. Um, it's been coming up in my world in different ways as of late. Some of you may know that I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, so the hub and home of all things tech. And there's been a lot happening job wise. Um, and when I say job wise, there's just been a significant uptick in layoffs. And I just hear the buzz all around me. It's the talk whenever I go to a kid birthday party or some kind of event or meetup, and it's all we're talking about. And even I have a day job, and there's always worries and stresses depending on what's happening in some part of the organization, as any big company tends to be going through. I will say I certainly have many perspectives and thoughts on what how AI is transforming our workplace, and it's something I think about a lot in my day job. And there are times when it intersects significantly with my work here with you all as a soul practitioner, a healer, and intuitive guide, where I really believe we came here with a purpose, with intentions, a soul plan that doesn't always make sense to our human selves right away, but it all makes sense in the grand scheme of things. And I'm just covered in chills as I talk about that. So actually lots of chills. So taking a moment to acknowledge what I call my unseen power, my guides, as I just wanted to acknowledge that if you're in a position or place where you are affected by these job transformations or layoffs or just this underlying baseline level of stress that's just like humming in the background of what will happen, what could happen. Um, like just it's the paradigm we live in the Western world and many parts of all over the world is you work hard to earn a living. You need a job and a paycheck to earn a living. And some of us have very different formats. I have many entrepreneurs and business owners in my audience and world and client base. I also know there are many of you who have day jobs and have done everything in between too, from breaks to take care of family. It is really a job and a purpose and a career in its own way to take care of a family and a home. And so, whatever may be the kind of work or activity you do that brings in money and more, like that is definitely a source of stability, of safety, of um, so many more emotions that matter to us and real material resources that matter to us, like health benefits and more, are a big thing through a job in the US, for example. And so it is hard when these things feel like they're being destabilized or things are changing, and it brings up a lot of fear that is very real, that is very understandable. And I just want to acknowledge that too, if that's coming up for you or anyone close to you. Because I'm certainly seeing this in so many different ways with people all over the world, really. And it's hard. And I will acknowledge, even in my workplace, like there's been stress around, oh, maybe there are changes coming and we don't quite know what they are. I'm not sitting in day to day panic, knock on wood, around having a paycheck which does support my family and the material resources we need. And I feel like this is also important to acknowledge and talk about, since we are in Taurus season when I'm recording this, or actually on the cusp of it. It's almost done here. So just know that this is such a collective feeling. I want to normalize and humanize that reality and also acknowledge the intensity of the stress it can bring when you feel like you don't have the money and the resources to take care of yourself, your family, your future, your dreams, your purpose. How hard is that? That is such a tough like set of emotions and thoughts and feelings to be with. And I just want to um, acknowledge it right now. And if you're feeling all that, may this be a space for you to be with those feelings, not to process it, not to think it through, not to catastrophize it. Um, so often, when we are in a place of fear, we can start to think about like what if scenarios and worst case scenarios. And I think there is absolutely a place for worry and anxiety and using those emotions as fuel to think things through. And my recommendation around it all is as best as you can, if you are able to regulate through it, to time box it, meaning I'm going to give myself an hour, an afternoon, some kind of boundaried time really to let yourself be with the feelings, the thoughts, and find a way to discharge it, not just process it in your mind, but it might be you're moving and dancing and feeling all the feelings, you're exercising and you're letting all these thoughts run through you, you are writing it down, but some way to feel it, think about it, and let your body move in a way that feels good and right for you. Because I think that's such an important thing is when all these, the fear can trigger so many thoughts and can trigger so many like what ifs. And then you can easily go into a loop of what if this, and then what, and then how. And that is very, very, very hard. So I just want to say that and say, um, to again time box it, to let your body move. And because your body is intelligent, your body can process emotion through movement, through some kind of I'll give you my best analogy here would be when um, animals are chased by a predator and they are the prey, and then they manage to escape. Many of us would have seen this or heard of this. Like they will shake to discharge all that um, pent up like energy, adrenaline. I don't know what hormones run through their system, but something of that sort. And you get to shake it all out. And just in the same way, you get to shake it all out in a way that works for you. Shaking is great. I am all for that. Like just, oh, there's too much stress building in my body. Shake, shake, shake. Like let your hands like um move vigorously around you. Let your shoulders move. Maybe you're in a place you want to do this with me. Let yourself do that. Let yourself feel the feelings. Maybe there's anger and rage at what's happening. And maybe underneath that, there's sadness, but let your body move and discharge. The other thing I will say at this point is to let your body move um, at the pace that feels right for it. It may not be able to do a deep breath work session and move through these emotions and states in your body, but you can certainly do a 1 minute shaking session, if you will, or maybe like 5 minutes of walking around the block. I do recommend walking or movement of that sort because it encourages bilateral movement. So both sides of your body are moving, and that can be very regulating. Um, in other words, very calming to the body. Um, what else do I want to say on this topic? Hmm. I think I just want to reiterate for people who are moving through this kind of stress, as I've been hearing through messages and reflecting on conversations I've been having, it's very easy to stay in your head and think. And I deeply, deeply encourage you to find ways to be in your body. And if that means mundane routine activities like I shower, I brush my teeth, I mm, soak in a bath, I make a cup of coffee and tea and stand in the sun. Please don't underestimate the value of how much those routine activities can be so grounding for your body. And how and why is that um, when you're in a fear state, your body is, it feels almost akin to you're being chased by a tiger or a lion. Oh, so many chills as I say that. It's it's a fight or flight response that might be coming up in your body, and it's like, I need to run away from danger or I need to fight with it, might be coming up within you. And you need to show your body, not your mind, but your body, like this is a much broader, like physical thing to engage your animalistic self in, is you need to show your body that you're safe, even if there's stress and emotion and worry and all these anxiety provoking things happening within you, like just breathing there, just breathing deeply and pacing your breath by going out in the sun, by taking breaks where you're not letting your mind wander in loops, but rather taking time to be present with nature, can all make such a dramatic difference. Bit by bit, step by step, baby steps all add up. You get to regulate in small doses and discharge all the stress that's coming up in doses as well. Um, the term often used in trauma informed practices is titration. You are titrating all that's coming up bit by bit. And know and trust that you can feel okay and good again. I implore you, I feel like the guides are speaking through me because it's not a term that I would use, but I implore you to listen to your body, listen to the nudges it might have. Like maybe I just need to go outside, and maybe it feels too frozen. That can also be a response in addition to fight or flight, and you just want to stay still. And it's okay to acknowledge and be that way. Like you just want to be in bed, or you just want to sit in that chair. And the more that you can also introduce just a little bit of movement, it moves you up what's called the polyvagal ladder. And you can get yourself into a place of activating your nervous system just enough, just enough. Like, I know that if you're in a place of um, extreme, like dysregulation, meaning like you're really struggling emotionally and mentally, um, please seek the right practitioner for you. For I'm not a licensed mental health practitioner, and so that anything much deeper and harder to move through with all that I'm advising, I do recommend finding a practitioner. There are so many platforms these days accessible through work or outside that you can find a therapist or a coach or a healer that really works for you, who's trained on what you need. I do encourage looking for practitioners with somatic experience of some sort. There's somatic experiencing itself, but there's also many other types of modalities that involve the body. And I really would advise focusing on um, practices that involve the body as well and not just the mind, because fear is, it can feel like this trap for your mind. Like you're just in a cage and your mind is bouncing all around all possibilities and probabilities. And um, it can also be a powerful time to find courage and keep moving. For fear, like you give fear power when you let it control every decision you make. And the way you take back power for yourself is by finding courage, finding bravery within yourself. Like, what's one step? What's one decision? Maybe it's even like, I cook a meal for myself today that I really want to have, or I um decide to, even watching a movie while doodling or writing might be a decision to take out time for yourself, to just be by yourself. And I just also want to say, I know that if you're in a place of job loss and there's a lot of stress, you might also be in a position where you have family and young ones or loved ones around you. But do find ways to do these practices either by yourself or with the support of a loved one or a practitioner. It's so, so important. Like, my reminder to you is like, you can receive help. You don't have to do this all by yourself. And this is me speaking to all the if you recognize this language, all the avoidant attachment personalities out there that love to take care of themselves and trust themselves and know that they can do it all by themselves. And sometimes when you're in a deep place of fear, it can really hit upon that pattern and attachment style. And it might be an invitation to reach out and ask for help from a coach, a healer, a therapist, whatever is right for you, whatever shows up in your field. Sometimes it's as simple as I'm going to make a decision within myself for a change and the right person appears. And I have chills as I say that. Like that can be true. It doesn't always have to be this deep struggle to find someone, as I've certainly found even in my own life. The other I would say is if you relate more to being anxiously attached, and having that attachment style, not having a job or the stability you want can be really hard because then you're like, how do I get it? And can go to a place of, I need it, I want it, how can I make it happen quickly? And the invitation at this time, maybe to, okay, I can just be, I can take some extra time and make a decision. If you're not dealing with like pressures of visa or other household realities, it's only accessible. All these wise, logical, and emotional and intuitive steps can only be taken when your body feels calm enough to receive. And that's where receiving help on calming yourself down, on regulating yourself can make such a difference. I also wanted to share a soul offering of mine if this feels supportive to you. I have a job loss healing ritual in my suite of offerings that, if that feels right for you, where we work through some journaling and meditative practices to really be with the grief that comes up with job loss and, create space within yourself. It's really when we can clear um, past stories, what's happened, the pain around that is when we can open up space to receive internally, energetically, is what I found. And I find that ritual can be so powerful and healing, which is why I recorded it when it was coming up with clients at the time. So I offer that invitation to you. I'll make sure the link is available wherever you're watching or listening to this, or you can find it at Nikki Joshi /soul dash offerings. And may it support you in on this journey, which I know can feel so, so hard if you have lost a job or in between jobs or figuring out even more broadly like financial stability. This it can be such a stressor, or even just job uncertainty even. Um, And I think I'm just even checking with my guides. They're saying a yes, like the ritual can be so supportive if you are working with job uncertainty. I'm feeling maybe I need to go back to my own ritual and receive that then. Just because I can, again, feeling this energy all around where I live, and it's real. I don't want to spiritually bypass and make it sound like we just need to do the inner work and everything will be better. There is definitely the reality of we need money and funds to operate in the modern world we live in. And if we're not able to figure that out, it can be very hard. And at the same time, in the same breath, I will say that we are creative beings, we are powerful, energetic beings, and we can manifest and create new possibilities even in really tough, dark circumstances. Both can be true. And I want you to feel into those possibilities. All right, with that, I feel like I'm checking with the guides. How do we want to go from here? Hmm, how much time has elapsed? I'm going to invite us all to do a 5-minute meditation around healing fear and feeling fear and being with fear, and to help us not operate from a place of fear, but to acknowledge and almost distance ourselves from the fears such that we can then operate from a more regulated place. I don't advise this if you're feeling like deeply emotional. This might feel like too much for your nervous system. So come back to this if you're in a place when you're ready to. Trust that you'll figure out the right timing, or this video will pop back up again, and you can always save this, put it on your watch later, listen to next cue wherever you're tuning in. And with that, I'll invite you, if you're in a place to slow down, settle down, and close your eyes. All right. As I'm settling down into the space I'm in, I'm allowing myself to feel my feet on the floor, and you can let yourself feel your body's weight on whatever surface you're seated or lying down on. Let's take a deep breath here. Out through your mouth. We'll do that 2 more times. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Last time together. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And as you're breathing in a regular, normal rhythm, just letting your body soften and relax, feeling the weight and the pull of gravity on your body, on every part, wherever you feel it. Maybe it's through your legs, your feet, your shoulders, maybe even your jaw, and feeling the faint pull of gravity down below. It feels very important for us all to acknowledge the pull of gravity, for it is a form of grounding. And as you feel the pull, allow for yourself to receive the abundant energy of the earth. The earth is always sending us so much love, so much vitality. And if you have to imagine it and make yourself believe that that's possible, just imagine the core of the earth like radiating out beautiful, loving, powerful magnetic energy. And magnetic energy sends so much love up through your body, all the way through your feet into your torso, through your pelvic region, up through your shoulders and arms, and into your head and crown. And just allow for yourself to receive the calming love that you're receiving from deep below. And as this magnetic energy is coming through you, it pulls away any stress, worries, the fears we talked about more, all the way down your torso, through your legs, and into the earth, where the earth can transmute this energy and receive it. The earth can hold and support so much, like all of us here tuning in, and in the same way, it can hold all of our anxieties, worries, and fears. Let's take a deep breath to feel into any lightness or shifts in sensation now. And I'm going to take a moment, if you're open to this practice, to call in all of our guides. You are welcome to replace that term with your higher or unseen power. Maybe it's universe, a god, oneness, and more. We all have so many names for what we may call a higher consciousness and something that's beyond us, but something we're deeply connected to. Call them, call it all in now, and just feel their presence, their love. Maybe notice any sensations in your body. And I specifically call in any guides who are supporting us on this journey of regulating through fear and feeling anchored and steady. It feels important to name that when things feel uncertain and shaky all around us, it is so important to feel anchored and steady and sturdy within ourselves. For that is how we brave any storms that might try to sweep us away. It's when you see a ship riding through the stormy seas, it's because they have a weight, a sturdiness about them. The mast with the sails blowing in the wind. There's sturdiness and a centeredness about a boat, even in the stormy seas. Even if it looks like it's shaking all around, you can be that boat that can ride the waves and feel just as sturdy and just as steady internally. It is an internal game, is what I'm hearing. And these guides want you to feel that. Right now, they're all sending us an experience of what it feels like to feel steady and calm, certain. Yes, you may not know what's going to happen next and how things will unfold, but at the same time, you can always take 5 minutes, just like you are right now, to feel calm and steady within yourself. And that is a feeling that you can always access and always come back to time and time again. I'm taking a moment to acknowledge that message and taking a moment to acknowledge these guides that step forth. Know that you can always call this energy of calmness and steadiness and steadfastness, sturdiness. All these words are coming through. And this is something you can come back to again and again, is what I'm hearing. So allow for yourself to receive this gift of steadiness and thank yourself because you have co created this energy and feeling with them. Please know that you can record this feeling and come back to it. And may this be a gift in the midst of the stormy seas if you are feeling that, or someone that you love is feeling that. Take a moment now to send them a burst of steadiness and groundedness and calmness. Let's in fact take a moment to send each other this feeling such that we can amplify this feeling for each other even more. Allow for yourself to receive if that feels good in your body too. It's your consent and always an invitation, never something for you to just have to do. I do feel that energy amplification. So thank you to you all for sending that to me as I've been sending it to you and each other. Whenever you're ready to, you can bring some movement into your physical body, your toes and fingers, and just breathing deeply, coming back into the space now. Thank you so much for receiving. Thank you so much for just being. This time is definitely calling for us all to be within ourselves, be with all parts of ourselves, the fearful parts, the steady parts. Um, we can certainly have a mix of it all happening all at once. But I hope that this experience helps you and know that my rituals available if that would support you. Whether you're dealing with job uncertainty, loss, or just want to really deeply process and integrate what's going on. And you can always come back to this practice. You can always come back to these reminders and know that you are infinitely powerful within you, that you can create the right circumstances that support you. So thank you for receiving.